All right, we've got Regents Review number 8. So what we're going to be dealing with today is solving a system of inequalities. We already did a system of lines, or linear equations, so now we're going to do inequalities. And we need to remember that technically the solution to an inequality is a shaded area. So the system or solution to a system of inequalities is not going to be where they cross anymore. Okay, it's going to be in the shading area where they overlap. Okay, sometimes you may have been taught to put a big S, or sometimes you may have been taught to put the word solution. So technically, any coordinate in that area is going to be the solution. All right, it's not going to be where they cross. Okay, because technically where they cross on this one is not a solution for the red line because the red line is dashed. All right, so how are we going to learn, or how are we going to find the solution to an inequality? We only do it graphically. So you're going to graph the first one, you're going to graph the second one, you're going to put an S where the shading overlaps. Right? It's nice if they're in y equals form because then you could just graph them automatically. So for number 1, okay, we're going to graph. The slope is 3 over 1, and the y-intercept is 5. So we begin at 5, and you can do this with me on the y-intercept. And m means to move, which is the slope, so we're going to go up 3, right 1. Right, and if we can't go up anymore, we're going to go in reverse. So we're going to go down 3 and left 1. We're going to go the entire graph. And now don't exactly draw a solid line because it's an inequality. So you need to look at the symbol. This says greater than or equal to. So or equal to means it's solid. Greater than, so we're going to shade which direction for greater than. Greater than is above, so we shade above the line. And we're going to remember to label it. Then we're going to go to the second one. It's already in y equals form, so your slope is -2, put it over 1, and your b is 8. So you're going to begin at 8 on the y-axis. Put a point. Your slope is negative, so you're going down, and you're always going to the right. You're going down to right 1. Down to right 1. You're going to go the entire length of the graph to give it a nice, easy picture. Don't assume it's going to be a solid line. You need to be careful. So we're going to look at the symbol, less than or equal to. Or equal to means it's a solid line. Okay, so now we're going to think about the shading. Less than. Less than is below. If you're less than me, you're below me. So below the line. Right, don't forget to label your line, or your inequality, sorry. So now we need the solution. So the solution is where the shadings overlap. Okay, think about where they overlap. Okay, I'm actually going to physically write the word solution. Okay, because this solution space is pretty big. So the solution is where the overlappings, or where the shading overlaps. Sometimes you're actually going to be asked to pick a point that's in the solution. Okay? So if you're asked to pick a point in the solution, you are not going to pick where they cross. Okay? In this case, where they cross technically works because they're solid lines, but you're going to pick any point in the solution. Okay? And you could tell me, just shout out some points that are in the solution, and those could be what they are. Okay, just pick a nice easy one, like -2, 1 works. All right, sometimes they're asked that extra question. All right, so don't forget, we graph one, we graph the other with our solid or dashed lines, our shading. Okay, then we put a big S, or we write the word solution where they overlap. Good. All right, example 2. Ugh, this is an issue. I hate these. Okay. So what's the issue? When we go to graph it, they're not in y equals form. So what we're going to do is we're going to get them in that. So we're going to do one at a time. So I'm going to pick this one. I need to get y alone. So I'm going to move 2x to the other side. How do I move 2x? I'm going to add it. So I get y is less than positive 2x plus 3. So you are going to take a minute and you're going to graph that. All right, we're back. Take a look. Does yours look like this? Do you have a dashed line? Do you have your shading below? And did you label it? Because that is perfect then. All right, then we're going to graph the second one. Y is not alone. How do we get y alone? It is 3 times y. So we're going to divide everything by 3. So that's negative 4x divided by 3. So this one's tricky. So I'll start what your slope is. So your slope is the number in front of x. But what is your b? What's the number you're adding on? 0. Okay? So that means you begin at 0. So what I want you to do is to graph the second inequality, and I want you to label the solution. Go. All right, take a look at my graph. Do you have a solid line? Do you have shading above because it's greater than? Did you label your inequality and did you put an S or did you write the word solution where they overlapped? Okay, and that would be a perfect 4 or even a 6 on your Regents exam. Great. All right, so now what we're going to do to continue it is we're going to give the nitty-gritty, the 6-point questions.